This is the 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car. Only 55 were ever made. The government forced Chrysler to crush 46 of them. This is what politicians called a menace to society in 1964. And this car was literally illegal to own in America for 25 years. Some cars weren't just fast, they were dangerous. Not because of their engines, but because of what they represented. Politicians tried to ban them. Lobbyists tried to crush them. Entire industries conspired against them. But these cars refused to die. And by the end of this video, you'll see how a handful of machines sparked culture wars, toppled regulations, and proved that you can ban a car, but you can't kill a legend. Let's go. Picture this, it is 1964, and Pontiac drops a bomb called the GTO, 389 cubic inches of pure rebellion wrapped in sheet metal. But here's what they didn't expect. Politicians absolutely lost their minds. Insurance companies branded muscle cars as death traps for teenagers. Senator Abraham Ribicoff actually held congressional hearings calling them weapons of mass destruction on wheels. I'm not making this up. State Farm jacked premiums so high that a 20-year-old buying a GTO paid more for insurance than the actual car. Massachusetts tried to ban any car with more than 300 horsepower from being sold to drivers under 25. But here's the kicker, it backfired spectacularly. Every time they tried to kill muscle cars, Detroit just got more creative. Can't sell a GTO? Fine, here's the judge. Too much heat on the Chevelle SS? Meet the LS6. Dodge Charger causing problems? Say hello to the Super Bee. Then, 1970 happened. The year Detroit said, "Hold my beer" to every politician in Washington. Plymouth drops the Hemi Cuda with 425 horsepower. Chevrolet unleashes the LS6 Chevelle with 450 horses. Freaking Buick, builds the GSX that could outrun a Corvette. The government was in full panic mode. Ralph Nader's calling them mobile crime scenes. The EPA's drafting emission standards that would choke every V8 in America. And then, 1971 hits like a sledgehammer. Emissions regulations gutted horsepower ratings. The Hemi disappeared. The LS6 vanished. Insurance companies won. Politicians celebrated. Muscle cars were dead. Or were they? Because in about 12 minutes, I'm going to show you how one car company brought back 797 horsepower and told the government exactly where they could stick their regulations. But first, sometimes it wasn't the engine that got banned. Sometimes it was just the name. Meet the 1971 Dodge Demon, a car so controversial they had to change its identity to survive. Religious groups across America went ballistic. Demon was glorifying Satan. Churches organized boycotts. Pastors gave sermons about the devil's chariot. One minister in Alabama literally blessed Dodge dealerships to cast out the automotive demons. Chrysler executives were getting death threats. Sales plummeted in the Bible Belt. So after just 2 years, they killed the Demon name and rebranded it as the Dart Sport. Same car, sanitized name, problem solved. But that's nothing compared to what happened to Chevrolet overseas. The SS badge, Super Sport, caused absolute chaos in Europe and South America because of its Nazi associations. Germany flat out refused to sell any Chevy with SS badging. Argentina banned them outright. Chevy had to create entirely different naming schemes for different countries. The Camaro SS became the Camaro RS in Germany. The Nova SS disappeared in Argentina. Even today, some markets won't touch the SS designation. And then there's AMC, who almost named a car the Gremlin Satan. I'm serious. Internal documents show they considered it for their performance package before lawyers stepped in. They settled on Gremlin X instead. But if you think American politicians were tough on domestic cars, wait until you see what they did to imports. Because that story involves the FBI, the Yakuza, and the most legendary banned car in automotive history. This is the car that broke the internet before the internet existed. The Nissan Skyline GTR. Twin turbo, all-wheel drive, 276 horsepower of pure Japanese engineering. And for 25 years, owning one in America was a federal crime. The 25-year import rule wasn't about safety, It was about money. Detroit was getting destroyed by Japanese imports in the 80s and 90s, so they lobbied Congress for protection. Any foreign car less than 25 years old was banned unless the manufacturer jumped through impossible hoops to federalize it. But Americans wanted these cars bad. Underground importers started smuggling them through Canada and Mexico. The R34 GTR became automotive contraband. People paid 100 grand for cars that cost 40 in Japan. Then the FBI started cracking down. Operation Rising Sun busted importers from California to New York. Cars worth millions got crushed. People went to prison, all for importing cars that were perfectly legal everywhere else on Earth. But Hollywood had other plans. Fast and Furious made the Skyline GTR a household name. Suddenly, every teenager in America was obsessed with a car they couldn't legally buy. The government had accidentally created the ultimate forbidden fruit. Today, clean R34s sell for $200,000. Cars that originally cost 40 grand are worth more than Ferraris. The ban didn't stop demand. It created a legend. Same thing happened to the Toyota Supra. Banned from import, immortalized by movies, now worth $300,000 for a clean turbo model. The government tried to protect Detroit and accidentally created the most valuable Japanese cars in history. But Japan wasn't the only country whose cars got the ban hammer. Because up next, I'm about to show you how America literally banned the future twice, and why the oil industry was involved both times. Chrysler builds the most advanced car in America, gas turbine engine, 130 miles per hour. Ran on anything, gasoline, diesel, kerosene, even perfume. Chrysler called it the car of tomorrow. The oil industry called it a threat. Chrysler built 55 of these machines and loaned them to regular families for real-world testing. The results were incredible. People loved them. They were reliable, smooth, and nearly maintenance-free. Chrysler was planning mass production for 1966. Then the phone calls started. Oil executives meeting with government regulators. Backroom deals with EPA officials. Suddenly, emission standards became impossible for turbine engines to meet. The program was shut down overnight. Of those 55 cars, Chrysler was forced to destroy 46. The government claimed it was for tax purposes. But everyone knew the truth. Big Oil had won. Fast forward to 1996. General Motors drops another bomb, the EV1. The first mass-produced electric car of the modern era. Zero emissions. 137-mile range. Faster than most sports cars of the time. People were obsessed. Waiting lists stretched for months. Hollywood celebrities drove them. Environmental groups called them the future of transportation. GM called them a business mistake and crushed every single one. Here's what they didn't tell you. GM was simultaneously investing billions in Hummer and making record profits from gas-guzzling SUVs. The EV1 was competing with their own most profitable vehicles. Plus, oil companies were major GM advertisers. The math was simple. In 2003, GM recalled every EV1, terminated all leases, and sent them to the crusher. People offered to buy their cars outright. GM refused. They literally destroyed the future to protect the present. But here's the thing about trying to kill good ideas. They always come back. Today, Tesla's worth more than GM and Ford combined. Electric cars outsell gas cars in multiple countries. And every major automaker is scrambling to build what GM crushed 20 years ago. Which brings us to the most important lesson of this entire story. Dodge walks into the LA Auto Show with 707 horsepower and a middle finger to everyone who said muscle cars were dead. The Hellcat wasn't just a car, it was revenge served supercharged. Chevrolet responds with the ZL1 Camaro. Ford drops the GT500 Shelby. Dodge goes nuclear with the Demon making 840 horsepower. The same politicians who tried to kill muscle cars in the 70s were now watching their grandsons buy 800 horsepower monsters. The R34 Skyline GTR that was banned for 25 years, it's finally legal, and people are paying supercar money for clean examples. The Supra that couldn't be imported, Toyota brought it back and sold every single one. The electric cars GM crushed, they're taking over the world. Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, everyone's building what GM said was impossible. Every single car on this list was supposed to disappear forever. Politicians banned them. Industries conspired against them. Corporations crushed them. But here's what they learned the hard way. You can regulate horsepower. You can ban names. You can even destroy prototypes. But you cannot kill the spirit of a car that people love. Every ban created a legend. Every restriction sparked innovation. Every crusher made the survivors more valuable. Because in the end, the cars always win. Next week, we're diving into the cars that governments are trying to ban right now, including one that's so fast, 3 countries have made it illegal to drive on public roads. The hypercar wars are just getting started. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see which 300-mile-per-hour monster is causing international incidents. Trust me, you won't believe which company built it.